The year was 2015. Louis, Joseph, and Sydney were like a lot of kids their age, which is to say 11 years old. They secretly stay up past their bedtime watching scary videos on the internet when their moms and dads think they're sleeping. They go to school every day and daydream about all the fun things they're going to do when that school bell finally rings at the end of the day. And of course, they play a lot, and we mean a lot, of Minecraft. Whenever they're not at school, hanging out at the local park and filming goofy TikTok videos, or watching those aforementioned scary videos on the internet, there's a good chance that they'll be online together, logging a few extra hours building bases, digging big holes, or playing survival mode, and seeing how long they can last against the onslaught of mobs. But there's one particular pursuit they have while playing Minecraft together that takes up the majority of their playtime. One quixotic quest that drives them forward, despite all the naysayers and doubters, tracking down and finding the legendary Minecraft creepypasta entity, Herobrine. For those who weren't around on the internet back then, creepypastas like Herobrine were all the rage. Like any video game, the new frontier of Minecraft with all of its procedurally generated landscapes felt like it held new mysteries. And mysteries are equal parts exciting and frightening. After all, who really knows what's going on behind a closed door? Herobrine was a Minecraft-specific little urban legend. Stories told of a default Minecraft skin with eerily white eyes manifesting in the game, even in solo matches, and terrorizing players. One internet sleuth who looked into the mystery of Herobrine claimed it to be the haunted soul of the dead brother of Minecraft's creator, Marcus Persson, also known as Notch. In the years since the legend first started, Notch himself has come forward and disavowed the claim, saying that, in fact, he didn't even have a brother and never had, so the rumors were completely baseless. But as we here at the SCP Foundation know, the truth has never gotten in the way of a good story. So Louis, Joseph, and Sydney were happy to remain believers as long as they could keep having fun chasing alleged digital ghosts. How could any of these boys know that in the midst of their fun, they'd run into a real monster amidst Minecraft's blocky vistas? It was a school night like any other when they made that first fateful expedition. It was 7:15 p.m., and the boys were all in their shared server. Louis had chicken tenders, Joseph had chicken nuggets, and Sydney, who'd eaten his dinner earlier than the others, was snacking on a pack of Skittles. They'd all outfitted their characters with full diamond armor, with diamond swords to match, because Joseph had somehow convinced the others that diamonds were ghost-proof. He read it on the internet, he claimed. Together, the three boys had made themselves an impressive Minecraft castle to be the base of their Herobrine hunting operations. A safe haven surrounded by high stone walls and mob-repelling torches to keep them safe if ever they got a little too spooked while playing. Though playing was perhaps too mild a word for it. In the minds of these three boys, they were doing extremely important investigative work. After all, if they managed to actually find Herobrine themselves, they would be creepypasta legends. And wouldn't that be worth all the hours upon hours of rigorous mining and crafting? They'd been methodical in their search, scoping out different corners of the map and canvassing them together, searching high and low, and then marking said area off their checklist. It was a level of consideration and thought that their parents and teachers had long wished the boys would put into their home or schoolwork. But alas, seeing as none of the homework was find Herobrine, they really weren't that interested. Today, they were searching an area deep in the misty forests in the dead of night. They fought off a few spiders and sword-wielding skeletons. Thankfully, no creepers. Aw man. And kept foraging on into the darkness.
It's so creepy out here,
Louis said over his headset.
Why do we have to come out here at night? It's way more dangerous with all the mobs. The night is like the perfect time for ghosts,
Sydney retorted.
You think a ghost is gonna start hanging around in the middle of the day? No way, it's gotta be at night, man.
And Louis simply could not argue with such incredibly sound logic. They forged on, doing their typical methodical search for any phenomenon that one might generously be able to describe as supernatural. So you can only imagine the excitement coursing through them when Joseph discovered a strange, dark cave that looked as though it had no business being there. While each held their own private reservations, they all knew what they needed to do: go inside and investigate. As they entered the cave, a few strange realizations occurred to them, such as the fact that there were seemingly no mobs down here. A cave in the dead of night? Surely there should be some enemies, right? Plus, the typical lighting implements, like torches and lanterns, didn't seem to offer the same kind of illumination that they normally would. It was almost like the darkness was more oppressive here, more tangible. There was undeniably something eerie about the whole setup. That much couldn't be denied.
You guys see anything?
Lewis asked.
No,
Joseph said, sounding oddly cautious, as though he sensed something strange was on the horizon, something that perhaps these boys shouldn't see.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either.
Sydney chimed in.
Maybe we should...
Joseph screamed, and the two others turned their Minecraft avatars to look at him. Joseph's character had bumped into something, some stranger in the cave. An NPC design that looked oddly realistic for something inhabiting the purposefully lo-fi blocky world of Minecraft. It seemed to have a dark, furry body, with a canid skull-like face, bearing a pair of milky white eyes that seemed to stare off into nothingness. Was this another mob? Maybe something added in the latest patch? If so, why wasn't it attacking?
What is that thing?
Lewis asked over his headset.
I don't know,
Joseph replied.
It's so creepy though.
Suddenly, a message appeared on the screen, as though it had been typed and sent by another player, a player with the username MalO. The message read, "Hey, that isn't very nice. You shouldn't judge on appearances, kid." That certainly gave them pause. So many things about this didn't make sense. It had all the hallmarks of an NPC, but apparently it understood their voices and could send messages. It clearly wasn't actually another player in a conventional sense, but it didn't attack like your typical mob. None of the boys could really make sense of what they were dealing with here.
Are you a hacker?
Sydney asked. No, MalO typed back.
I'm just lonely and a long way from home. It's nice to have your company down here though. I don't get visitors often. Have you heard of Herobrine?
Lewis asked. MalO typed back. Is he a friend of yours? You should introduce him to me. I love making new friends. The three boys were, in some regards, rather mature and polite for their ages, and so remained civil with this bizarre, mysterious figure who was curious and inquisitive, asking them questions about their school lives and their friends. It did seem earnestly happy for their company, so it didn't give any of them the sense that it was a threat. As night drew on and the boys' respective parents told them it was time to log off and get some shut-eye, MalO finally typed, "I've really enjoyed hanging out with you kids. Come back and visit me again tomorrow. If you don't, I'll come visit you instead." None of the kids picked up on the probably rather obvious stranger danger vibes of this message, and instead they went to bed, excited and curious. The next day they met up on the playground for a kind of State of the Union on the strange phenomenon they had encountered the night before.
Do you think it has anything to do with Herobrine?
Lewis asked.
Forget Herobrine,
Sydney replied, eliciting gasps from the two others.
All the other people have Herobrine. We have something better, something only we've discovered. We've got MalO.
Later that night, Joseph, who was probably the most studious of the group, tried to do a little background research on MalO. Everything seemed to turn up dead ends, aside from one slightly shady-looking app called MalO version 1.0.0. Its description read, "Never settle for those awkward feelings of being alone ever again. MalO is an exciting and interactive experience that will keep you engaged and intrigued. The anxiety of social situations can be nerve-wracking, but just after a few hours of MalO, you will soon forget all about those painful emotions of disappointment. Be part of the new craze that is quickly becoming the next social substitute. Remember, the more you participate, the more MalO will engage you. Your experience is completely up to you. Absolutely no ads. Enjoy." Weird. So unless the thing they encountered on Minecraft was some kind of weird viral marketing campaign for the app, it was probably just a coincidence. Maybe it was a popular character from Japan or something. Either way, for the next several days, the boys honored their promise. They'd visit MalO in the cave every night and chat, trying to tactfully get more information out of it. Though the best they could get on the entity's origin was the cryptic statement, "I'm not usually here, but everyone wants a vacation once in a while, don't they? We can't just spend our whole life on a phone." They'd become so acclimated to MalO over the days that they forgot what the entity had said to them the very first day they met. "Come back and visit me again tomorrow. If you don't, I'll come visit you instead. But on the day that they didn't come and visit MalO, because Miss Grayson had sent a particularly challenging piece of English homework, they received a frightening reminder. That very night, they all started receiving strange texts on their phones. As you can probably expect, they were all photographs, each and every one depicting some regular haunt that the boys all liked to frequent, with one addition. MalO's grinning skull face hiding somewhere in the image, like some kind of demented parody of Where's Waldo. The strangeness of this new development left all the boys shaken, and they hopped back onto Minecraft as quickly as possible to go find and talk to MalO in its cave. However, this time the cave was empty, and MalO was nowhere to be seen. But the text still didn't stop. They'd come in so frequently, with MalO getting closer to home, literally in each one. The boys thought about telling their parents, but would their parents believe them? They'd probably lump MalO in with the same tall tales of childhood imagination as Herobrine, and write it off as bored kids playing a prank, even though in this case, it was anything but. More photos arrived. In these ones, MalO was right outside each of the children's homes, lurking, watching. In some of the photos, they could see themselves in the windows, going about their evening business, having no idea of the creature lurking just outside. None of the boys felt like playing Minecraft that night. It wasn't fun anymore. Instead, they shut themselves up in their rooms, closed and locked their windows, and pulled down the blinds, after checking under the beds with flashlights, of course. But still more photos came in, all depicting MalO getting closer and closer and closer. Right about the time they were wondering whether the scratching on the outside of their bedroom door was real or just a figment of their imagination, another dark irony had occurred to them. All this time trying to find something supernatural, and in the very end, something supernatural had instead found them. Want an anomaly of your own? Check out scpswag.com for high-quality SCP merch. Now go check out SCP-1471 MalO version 1.0.0. And what if SCP-1471 MalO was put inside SCP-914 for more marvelous MalO madness?